Since this was just posted today, I figured I'd go ahead and start by maybe commenting, reacting, and stuff like that to the latest Satisfactory video. This one is discussing everything we need to know about the update the map changes to in update 5, and apparently there's going to be more. I've already watched a little bit of this as a full disclaimer, so the first portion I've already somewhat heard because I was doing other things at the same time, but I didn't fully catch it all, so it'll be a good refresher and stuff like that. But the second portion, I have not listened to much of it, so we will be going into that together on that point. So we'll actually check that out. So let me go ahead, and I'm just going to leave it here in the window as is because we do not want to get any, since this is just us reviewing what's being said, we'll keep it as is and go from there. So let me go ahead and unmute this, and we'll go ahead and start playing. And what I'll do, instead of just talking over them, is I'll pause, make a comment about something, then resume the video. So let's go ahead and watch.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason. I'm a community manager at Coffee Stain Studios, and last week we showed off the first look at Update 5. So it was a teaser trailer showing the rework of the Northern Forest that's going to be happening in Update 5, and it also marks the first video in, like the beginning of the Update 5 teaser season. So, as we did with Update 4, we tried like every week to put out information and teasers and whatnot for Update 4 at that time, and we want to do the same kind of thing with Update 5. And so, that was last week. We're putting this video out now, and then hopefully we can keep this up, keep giving you some new stuff every week. So if you're interested in Update 5 and Satisfactory, consider subscribing so that you can check out all of these videos as they come out every week. So in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that teaser video. If you haven't seen it yet, video link up here in the cards. It's only 1:30, pretty quick. Watch it before watching this video. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff in that teaser video, but also some stuff that's world related in Update 5 in general. There are more world-related stuff coming that was just shown in that video. So yeah, gonna give you a bunch of information, address some concerns that some people had, all that good stuff. So let's just get into it. So obviously Northern Forest is getting a rework, as you saw in the video. There is some before and after shots of different areas. There's also a bit of like lighting and fog rework happening with that as well. This change to Northern Forest is a change that we consider to be a major change for sure. It definitely looks and feels very different. And a lot of people, immediately, a lot of people's feedback has been, but what about my factory? Is my factory going to be engulfed by the terrain, cliffs, etc., etc.? Now, the good thing about the Northern Forest is that even though this change, the rework is major, the impact that it will have on your factory shouldn't be too bad. You're gonna get trees in your factory, but you can take care of that with a chainsaw. You're gonna have a bunch of trees in your factory. But as far as like landscape goes, actually not much has changed. So there's very, very minor polish to the landscape and terrain. So you shouldn't have any issues with the landscape engulfing your factories as far as the Northern Forest is concerned. Now, as for the feedback that we've been getting a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people.
Now, that part is actually makes me happy. It's only a terrain change, he says, basically, which is a good thing. Any major terrain change would cause issues, but considering in one of my playthroughs, every time I cut down trees and build a factory in the area, the trees would grow back every time I'd relog in. I am kind of used to trees just being in my factory, I'll be honest. But I also like the new aesthetic that the Northern Forest is going to have. It makes me think when I actually do a legit playthrough of Satisfactory. I know I keep talking like I was going to do it with Update 4. I never did. But maybe with Update 5, I'll go ahead and get ready to start ramping up like a Satisfactory playthrough. Like maybe I'll call it Satisfactory Saturdays or something like that. And we'll go from there. But this is making me think the Northern Forest would be a good jumping off point.
Love the look of the new fresh look of the Northern Forest. I mean, the new assets, etc., are just a higher quality as well. The lighting and fog changes seem to be received well as well. However, some people have some concerns. Some people are a little bummed that it looks a little more Earth-like and less alien-y, right? The white willows, for example, are gone as well, and a lot of people are partial to those trees. And so we've seen like a lot of people's comments about that. And in fact, on this week's stream, we stream every Tuesday, twitch.tv/Coffee Stain Studios Devs. This past stream that just went by, I invited Hannah, the world designer, to join the stream to just talk about, just the teaser, the Northern Forest rework in general, as well as addressing some of those concerns that people had. So she talks about like the motivations and inspirations for why we're making these changes, why we're going in this direction. Also, just issues like specifically about the Willow itself, that like issues with like its asset quality and also its inability, or that we struggle to find a way to have it work with other assets in a nice way. And then as for like the alienness of the way that the area looked before, she talks a little bit about how that alien look was just an accident. It was mostly just a bunch of random things that we just put together, as opposed to an intentional crafted alien look that the biome had, And so with this new approach, we're having a more intentional look and feel, whether or not it looks more alien to you or not,
That is actually interesting there, that the aesthetic of the area was a complete accident. I mean, I understand that a lot of times, especially when the game is just being built, the major concern, well, this is how the major concern should be, but it's not always with certain devs, or especially new dev teams. But usually when it comes to game creation, the first thing you're worried about is the gameplay and the fun factor first. You're not worried about the aesthetics or the look of the world or anything like that. And it's good to hear that that was their focus right now, is the actual gameplay was fun and engaging and interesting, and the world look was kind of secondary. I mean, that should be the basics, where polish comes last. If you're constantly in the polish mode from the start, you're never going to finish, and you're going to end up making the other elements lag behind that you actually need to work on. It's like the graphics. I mean, this is the one thing that annoys me with a lot of modern gaming and gamers in general, is they worry too much how realistic everything looks. It's like, I don't give a shit if it looks realistic or not. I want it to be a fun experience. I mean, this is why Minecraft is enjoyed by millions of people. It's like, it's an ugly ass game, but it's engaging and fun to play, just on the building level of it all.
But at least this pass of the Northern Forest is a more cohesive look. Anyway, I can't really explain it so well. Okay, I just make shitty YouTube videos. Let's be real here. Okay, I'm not a level designer. I'm not an artist. So I've actually highlighted that segment of the Twitch stream. So if you're interested in a more sort of like in-depth discussion about that, and to hear it straight from Hannah's mouth directly, I'm going to leave a link in the description below. You can go watch that highlight from Twitch. I'm just paraphrasing, so don't listen to me. All right, I'm just giving the TLDR. But for the most part, the response has been great for the Northern Forest rework, and that's really exciting, especially since there hasn't really been a world update for a long time. Something that Hannah talks a little bit about in that Twitch highlight as well. So I highly recommend, if you care about this stuff, to check out that Twitch highlight for sure. Hashtag save the willows, by the way. So there's actually another area that's getting a bit of a rework in Update 5, and that's actually going to be the Dune Desert again. The Dune Desert's got a few changes over the years, but it's going to be a little bit more of a rework again in Update 5. Now, this wasn't featured in the teaser trailer at all, so this is new stuff, you guys. The changes to the Dune Desert is kind of weird. Like, they're more minor. The Dune Desert looks and feels basically the same as it did before. However, the changes that we did make are landscape-based. So, people who are, kind of concerned about their factories, there's the potential that these landscape changes may encroach on your factory. So I'm going to show off some before and afters of the Dune Desert changes, just of a couple of the places, so you can kind of see what we're talking about here. So there's the big wall separating the Dune Desert and the Spire Coast. You can see that there used to be kind of steps, and now it looks a little bit more natural. Now, you're probably not building factories there, so it's probably not a huge issue, but that's one thing that's being changed. In the northeastern portion of the Dune Desert, there used to just be just dunes there, and now there's going to be this massive crater there. Again, this shouldn't be too much of an issue for people with existing factories in that place, as the crater will be going into the ground.
That's something that'll make me happy. That was one of the things. I mean, made a playthrough, and I think one of the things that bummed me out about the Dune Desert, even though it's rich in resources, and you should have, even though it's called, the difficulty is supposed to be the highest in the entire game, actually felt kind of easy to handle. The downside was it was so flat and so featureless that it was boring to engage with, and kind of, for me in particular, it felt just depressing to deal with. I mean, I usually like doing these type of games with other people and stuff like that, and I know with Satisfactory's online right now, it's not the greatest in the world, but at the same time, the Dune Desert just was not doing it for me, and it kind of killed my mood for Satisfactory, which is why I decided to wait for Update 4, and unfortunately, things happened and I wasn't able to start an Update 4 like I originally planned to.
So you might have a floating factory, but that's there now. The eastern segment of the Dune Desert is also getting a little bit of work done to it. You probably don't have a factory there, so there's probably not too much to worry about. But there are some minor changes. Things have been moved around a little bit there as well. There's also this massive big rock that's being introduced in the middle of the Dune Desert. So if you have factories in the middle of the Dune Desert, this rock may actually engulf some buildings of yours that are there. Now, the plus side is this rock isn't super huge, and you should be able to work around this rock if it's introduced, but just a heads up, that's coming as well. But you can see there's some new looks there for some of the other changes that are coming in Update 5. Now with that, the Northern Forest and the Dune Desert are actually at a state that we consider to be final. We might do some minor polishing here and there, but as of today, as of now, August 6th, we do not plan to do any more major landscape or aesthetic changes to the Dune Desert or the Northern Forest up until 1.0. So that's kind of exciting that we've got those two areas down as far as we can tell for now. And so at the end of the teaser trailer, there was a shot of a cave which looked really beautiful and majestic and mystical and wonderful and lovely. And a lot of people, really like the look of that as well. And we're wondering, what's going on there? Is this an underground biome, for example? We've hinted that we would be adding another biome at some point in the future. Is this that biome? Is this an underground biome coming to Update 5? I can say that, no, this is not the new biome that we're talking about. However, our intention here is we're going to be giving this kind of treatment to all the caves that exist in the game at the moment. In Update 5, all of them won't have already been done, but we will work through them. And, and with this, we sort of do kind of see the caves kind of as a biome. We want them to have this one cohesive look, but it's not like there's going to be one big cave section on the map. It's going to be the caves as they are right now, kind of just sprinkled throughout the map, and we're going to make them all sort of have this nice, beautiful, sort of cohesive look to them. So a lot of people also ask, why was there no before shot of that cave? It is a cave that already exists. That cave has changed too much for there to have been a before and after shot. I'll do a before and after kind of fly through right now for you, so you can see what's happened. So the insides of that cave has changed a little bit, and actually its location within the world has moved a little bit. The entrance to that cave, the entrance has stayed.
I like how he sits there and says it's changed a little bit with the before shot, then goes immediately to the after shot, and it's changed more than just a little bit. I mean, aesthetically, it has a lot more going on. You see, I think it looks like more stalagmites and stalactites, as well as fungal growth and plant growth and stuff like that. It's definitely looks like they're trying to make the cave systems more interesting, because in current Satisfactory, from what I remember, the caves are pretty boring outside of the stupid ass spiders that are there to creep people out. Which brings up their no spiders mode for the arachnophobic is even worse, because all it is a still image of a cat moving around, and it's creepy as hell.
The same, but the inner workings of that cave has moved around quite a bit, so I couldn't actually get a camera to do a before and after. And I guess if there's anyone out there who builds factories in that cave, get your factory out of that cave, because you're going to be in trouble in Update 5. Why are you building factory in a cave anyway? That's fine. Play the game how you want to play, all right? But maybe take your factory out of that cave. Yeah, okay, so that's a bunch of world changes that are coming. Some people have asked, can we please get a kind of map so we can see what's kind of being worked on and what's being changed. And I've prepared a couple maps for you, actually. So the first map that we're going to look at is this first map here. And this map here is actually just a map of just the changes that are coming in Update 5. So you can see that the Northern Forest and the Dune Desert has some work being done to it. You can also see that we have a couple categories down there, Category B and C. You might be wondering, where's A and D? We'll talk about that in a second. So Category B with mid to significant foliage changes, landscape changes may impact your factory. Category C, mild to significant foliage changes. In this case, like in the Northern Forest, foliage changes are significant, but you can take care of those with chainsaws, for example, with a minor landscape polish, unlikely to impact your factory. So those are the changes that are coming in Update 5. Now, I have another map for you, which is actually sort of our roadmap for map changes between now and 1.0. We don't have a time frame on these necessarily, but we do know that there are no more map changes apart from the Update 5 changes coming this year. So any other map changes will be coming next year. But yeah, this is what the roadmap kind of looks like here. And we've got category A and D added there as well. So category A is actually the white section, which is a significant changes to foliage and landscape, very likely to affect your factories. So as you can see, the Spire Coast is probably you probably don't really want to build there. We discourage that. There's a lot of work that's going to happen at Spire Coast. So try steer clear of there. If you have anything there at the moment, try move it out.
So basically all those streamers who like Kibitz, who have their entire factories, I think a lot of people use the Spire Coast as like an oil refinery area, so they're in trouble basically is what they're saying. Though mostly it sounds like you won't have to worry about the Spire Coast until next year, it sounds like, since sounds like Update 5 is going to be the last update of this year, so they've got time, it sounds like, to move everything. But from what I seen of other streamers, Spire Coast just ends up becoming offshore oil refineries and stuff like that for power, plastic, and stuff like that. So I don't. But well, excuse me. This will at least give me an idea when I start playing Satisfactory again to avoid this area. I'm wondering about that Paradise Island down there. I don't recall ever going to it, but that's something maybe to check out the next time I start playing the game.
Probably a good move. And then category D is just minor polish. That's pretty much final, and we're pretty much happy with how that looks. No major landscape or foliage updates planned for those areas. And then, of course, after Update 5 comes out, the Northern Forest and Dune Desert, as I said before, would go green. They would be considered final as well, maybe only some minor polish in the future. So, as you can see, the vast majority of the map after Update 5 is going to be in, a pretty final state, which is pretty exciting. Now, there's a very obvious concern that people have brought up immediately, again, once we talk about all these map changes, is what's happening with resource nodes, though? You're doing all these changes, what's going to happen with the resource nodes? Now, on the plus side here, resource nodes, we don't plan on actually moving them at all. If we move them, they're going to move very, just a very small amount. And actually, you can see in this before and after that I did of the crater earlier, you can see these resource nodes there. They don't move an inch. They're in the exact same locations, even though the landscape around them has changed a lot. And that's kind of what we intend on doing. So even if you look at the red and white areas of the map that we showed before, categories A and B, we still intend all of those resource nodes to be in the same place regardless of what we do with the landscape around them. Any miners or oil extractors or anything you have down there, those nodes shouldn't move too much anyway. And even if they do move and things are misaligned, your miners and oil extractors and all that stuff will continue to work as if they were attached to that node anyways. One other thing that you might be wondering is that I remember quite a while ago we showcased a video of some world update, technical updates that are coming in Satisfactory in the future. We did a video with Ben, our tech artist, and he showcased some changes to the waterfalls, for example, and also some reflections, some of these cool things. It is important to note that these changes are not coming in Update 5. They will come in a future update. Don't ask me why they're not coming out. There's reasons. We work on different versions of the game at the same time.
That's interesting. I thought they came with Update 4. I guess I missed that part in their latest talk, because I knew that was coming. I saw the stream. What was it? I think it was either earlier this year or at the end of last year, and it was very interesting to see the difference the water effect had, but I thought they already implemented it. I guess not.
compatibilities, blah, blah, blah. They're going to come at some point in the future, just not in update 5. Okay, so that's everything that I wanted to talk about today. I hope you found the video interesting. I hope you're excited for update 5. We're really excited to finally be showing you people all of the cool stuff that we've been working on. So be sure to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to keep up to date with what's happening with update 5. Thank you all very much for watching the video. Have a lovely...
Alright, so that's basically the end of that video. I'll go ahead and hit a like on that just because. So yeah, it looks like we have update 5. Sounds like it's just mostly going to be visual changes. Though it's interesting they showed off the artifact in the actual what is it? The preview trailer. So I'm wondering if the artifacts that have no function at all right now will gain a function eventually.